Red Bull's dominance has just been building since the start of the season, and no other team has seemed close enough to fight with them. But the new upgrades in design of the W14 have shown great potential, especially after a double podium in the last race in Spain. And the question that we're all asking ourselves is whether Mercedes Discovery has improved the performance of the W14 and maybe put Red Bull supremacy in jeopardy. Is it possible that Red Bull has found a competitor in Mercedes? Let's take a look at that. Mercedes brought their upgrades to Monaco, and in just 2 races, these new upgrades have put Mercedes back in the game. In the recent Spanish Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton and George Russell both put on impressive displays of driving, with Hamilton securing 2nd place and Russell finishing in 3rd. It seems that the team is back at the top, at least on the top of the rest of the teams in the Constructors' Championship. Russell's recovery from starting 12th to ending up on the podium was a remarkable feat, and the fact that he finished ahead of Sergio Perez, who had just started the position ahead of him, highlights the strength of the Mercedes car, which seems to be performing better than ever. So the team strategy was also on point, allowing the team to make the most of the car's performance and secure valuable points. When expressing his satisfaction with Mercedes' performance, Russell admitted that he was quote-unquote a little bit surprised to be on the podium after fending off a late challenge from Perez. He said, "Kudos to the team for giving me a great car today. That was a fun race for us, starting from P12 and coming to P3. Hopefully a sign of things to come for us in the team. The car definitely feels better. You're just putting in the lap times compared to other guys around you, the Ferraris and Astons, as you're going quicker and quicker." The team finally decided to ditch their zero sidepod design, which was not working, and with that major change, they bagged a double podium finish and 33 championship points. And that's all the Brackley-based team needed to get them back in the game, as they're now leading the battle for 2nd, which is now between 3 teams: Ferrari, Mercedes, and Aston Martin. And potentially Alpine, who have shown some really impressive performances, especially in Monaco, where they got a podium finish with Esteban Ocon in 3rd. The new Mercedes design is unquestionably the way to go, and it's the approach that they ought to have taken last year. And their discovery of a new direction for car development will be a significant factor in determining the outcome of the next races. Is it true that the team has found great performance with the new upgrades? The good news for Mercedes is that the upgrade was only one of many that they had in store. The changes in Barcelona were just the first set of their planned upgrades. They leave room for even more performance. With the potential for even more upgrades, there is hope that the team can finally catch up to Red Bull. It's still early in the season, and all is for play here. Mercedes' recent success has certainly put them back in the running for 2nd spot in the Constructors' Championship, and possibly the 1st spot. Even though Red Bull is still out ahead of the rest, a Constructors' Championship is won by 2 drivers, and any slip-up could cost them dearly. The recent poor performances from Perez give the rest a chance to swoop in. But is that really possible? After lacking in performance since the start of the 2022 season and only showing flashes of performance with the car, which didn't amount to anything, can Mercedes prevail in this fierce competition in the midfield? How will they play against their rivals the rest of the season, and can they maintain their momentum? The Mercedes team is determined to close the gap on the Red Bulls and challenge for the championship, and they believe that their recent upgrades have given them a solid foundation to build upon. With their newfound direction in car development, the team feels confident heading into the next races. And to add on to that, Lewis is finally getting around to signing a contract with the new team. Hamilton's commitment to Mercedes adds to the team's confidence, and they're going to undoubtedly work towards building on the foundation in the next races. However, they're aware that there is still work to be done to improve their overall speed and performance if they really want to catch up to the Red Bulls, and the upcoming race in Montreal is going to be a crucial test of their progress. The team's confident that they have found something that they can work with, and they're looking forward to continuing the development of the W14. As they look forward to building on their recent success and close the gap on their rivals, it's going to be interesting to see how their upgrades fare in the upcoming races and whether they give Mercedes the boost that they need to challenge for the championship. Catching up to Red Bull is not that wild of a dream. It's hard, it's a long shot, but we're not ruling it out, at least at the moment. The reason being that Red Bull has yet to face the consequence of the penalties handed to them by the FIA for exceeding their cost cap of the 2021 season, and for also being last year's champions. Being the best comes at a cost. With the new regulations, teams are now restricted to a certain number of test runs in the wind tunnel, along with a number of computational fluid dynamic hours, also known as CFD, that they're able to carry out when developing their cars. The higher in the championship a team is at the end of the season, the less time that they have. At the moment, Red Bull has the shortest amount of time, and the expectation is that this will hamper Red Bull's ability to develop their car further, which could potentially open the door for Mercedes to gain ground on their rivals. which is something that the team principal at Red Bull, Christian Horner, has expressed concern over. I think it's going to be very difficult for us to develop this car, because when you look at the percentage of time that we have, less than some of our rivals, it's significant. It's significant. But that's just the way it is. We just have to do the best with what we have, be efficient, effective, and selective in what we choose to develop and how we allocate our time, Horner said. Will this card play well in Mercedes' hands? Tell us what you think about it. The Aston Martin and Ferrari cars look to be no match for the W14 in Spain, as overtakes in these cars were too easy. But was it just due to the fact that the track in Spain favors the Mercedes car more? One thing's for sure, though. The new Mercedes design is definitely a step in the right direction, and it's helped to give the team a much-needed boost. And I know there's excitement, but let's try our best not to get carried away. Team principal at Mercedes, Toto Wolff, has warned that as much as they're aiming high, the team needs to be realistic. Let's keep our expectations real. There is such a long way to go in order to catch Red Bull that we just need to grind away. It's a good moment to see that the development direction is right. We just need to chip away. And as you know from our lap times, we're really good at grinding. Once there's a setup direction and development direction, we just go for it. And we have the advantage in terms of aero time, but again, we also need to be realistic. Today, the temperatures really suited us. It was nice and fresh and not too cold or too hot. The car was in a mega window. We needed the shock at the beginning of the season to understand that the old car is not going forward, and there was much more performance to be gained by changing concept. It's also important to note that Red Bull has proven to be a strong team when it comes to adapting to these new regulations and restrictions. They have a talented group of engineers and designers who are capable of finding innovative solutions to any challenge that comes their way. They're definitely not going to be going down without a fight. Mercedes can try, and even if it doesn't work out this year, there's, next year. Or they can just focus on 2024. Just like Lewis said. I think we're going in the right direction, and I know that we have something in the pipeline moving forward. I'm hoping at least by the end of the year that it would be great if we could challenge them. For me, I'm way more focused on making sure that we have the car next year to challenge them from day one. With more races to come, it's going to be interesting to see if the team can maintain the same level of success as in Catalonia and continue the competition. Only time will tell if Mercedes can continue closing the gap on Red Bull. But, do you think they will? Let us know in the comment section down below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Formula One content. I'll see you next time.